Morning, everybody. How are we doing? Last couple of days, I've been dancing coming into these. Don't know why. But look, it's what? Wednesday. It's the international break. It feels so exhausting doing these in September and October and November. But here we go again. Today, we're going to be speaking about Joao Neves, the Benfica midfielder. Manchester United scouts were watching him in action at the weekend. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed it. Saw him score his first goal for the club this season, actually, in the Portuguese league. I'm going to run through and discuss him. And we're going to speak about Man United sporting director. Have a little conversation around Dougie Freedman this morning after comments from Rio Ferdinand. Then we're going to speak about the new stadium. And we're going to speak about, well, I've got guns a-blazing to start this show today, I'll be honest. I'm really quite annoyed. Might even do a lunchtime video on it. Yeah, we'll see. Final international break until March, apart from the fact that there's a January winter break. So there's look, I don't mind the winter breaks because the players do need a break, but the international breaks, just get in the bin. Get in the bin. And then we'll speak about, what else we got? A billionaire buying some shares in Manchester United yesterday was confirmed by Bloomberg. What does that mean? I'll explain all of that. Not much is a spoiler alert. Who's down here from the member gang? Let's have a quick look. Carl, good morning to you. Chris, you're there too. Piralas, we've got Daz, we've got Al, Jordan, Brian, Saeed, Bishal, good morning to you. Thomas, Kenny, you're there as well. Gary, good morning to you. First time you catch us in weeks. Nice to see you there. Paul, you're there. Teresa and Offkey, who's on Facebook. Edric, good morning to you as always. Musa, Sharka Tucker, that's a wicked name. Danny, Carl Oliver, good morning to you. Trepa, we've got Mark Fossey, Stephen Lawrence, Chris Wynn, and John Mort. Some regular faces and some new faces. Good morning to everybody. I hope you enjoy the show. You know what to do. Get involved in the comments. I try to make this as interactive as possible. I try to listen to your questions, concerns, and opinions. I don't agree with every one of them. But hey, it's the beauty of opinions and it's the beauty of an interactive show. We can have a conversation. But this morning, I want to sort of let loose a little bit to start with. Because imagine my shock. Imagine my surprise to see that The Guardian, due to a new leak, what was it called? The Panama Papers, when that was the one that caused, untold amounts of problems for a lot of rich, scummy people. There's been a new leak of financial documents in which Chelsea are coming under further scrutiny. Chelsea face new questions over Roman Abramovich, how Roman Abramovich funded success. Let's quickly zoom in on this. Chelsea face fresh questions over how its former owner funded the club's success after leaked files revealed a string of secret payments that may have breached strict football rules, including those on financial fair play. And honestly, imagine my surprise. I think I've come on here quite a few times, and I think we had a conversation. And I said, if I could choose one club to fold and to have never existed, I would 100% choose Chelsea. 100% I would choose Chelsea. And at the same day, the same time as this has happened, or coming out with Chelsea, is the same day that we see, oh, look at this. Oh, well done, City. Look at that. Oh, record revenues. Record wage bill. Don't care about any of that. I care about the fact that they got charged with 115 different charged by the Premier League, by the league itself. They got charged. And do you want to know a horrible stat? And this right here is a massive reason why I just love football a little bit less. That right there. Out of the last 20 Premier League titles that have been won, 2 decades, 20 years, 12 of them have been won by either City or Chelsea. The same Chelsea whose owner had to sell the club after he was forced to by the government. The same Chelsea who is now under further scrutiny for the illegal payments, which were going on the entire time under Abramovich, to City, who, well done, lads. Yeah, you've won the treble. Yeah, and you've also got 115 different financial fair play breaches brought against them by the Premier League. And these are the two clubs who are responsible for winning 12 out of the last 20 Premier League titles. Look, I hate Liverpool, but that's due to a rivalry. I hate Arsenal because the Premier League will never ever be better than what it was between 1998 and what was it, 2004, 2003, 2004? That 5-6 year period of United and Arsenal and the genuine rivalry of two just absolutely elite teams going at it was the peak of the Premier League. And that's not just old man. That there was just, it was king. Keane and Vieira and Van Nistelrooy and Keown and the Wenger and Fergie and the storylines that existed throughout those entire 6 years. But this is why I hate modern football right here. 20 Premier League titles, 12 have been won by two clubs who just do not care. They do not care about financial fair play, about rules. Sod that. We'll just break it anyway. We'll just make sure we pay someone enough. It's pure corruption. And it just as much as, I don't know what I hate more. What's happened to football off the pitch or what's happened to football on the pitch? I don't know. Because off the pitch, all this stuff. You let I called them sharks. We invited Chelsea and Abramovich in, and he was the beginning. When Abramovich came in and Chelsea all of a sudden had unlimited money, nobody could touch them. Nobody could get anywhere near them. Fergie managed to sort of come back into it. Of course he did. But then City came in. And I don't know how this City is going to go away now, to be honest. They're so rich. They have their hand in so many pies. I don't know how if the Premier League itself can bring 115 charges against City, the league, the institution in which it plays, can bring those charges against City, and then it's all a whisper. Oh, yeah, congratulations. Yeah, well done, City. You won a treble, yeah. No mention of this 115 charges because it will go on for years. It will go on for, and it's just, it feels like, man, the amount of times I have to moan about modern football. But this is why. That's there. It's going to keep ringing in my head. 12 titles out of the last 20 have been won by City and Chelsea. Yeah, two clubs who were just charlatans. Proper cheats. Relegating both. That will never happen. Probably won't even get points deduction. Anthony highlights how good a job Fergie and Jill did with these owners. Yeah, I remember when Fergie was trying to, was it 2006, 2002 that Fergie was considering retiring? I think it was 2006. Can't remember. But he managed to come through, and then that's when, 2007, 2009 ended up being our best ever. Man. Classic big business doing what they want, man. True, very much. True enough. Well, I don't know what I was saying down here, but sod it. Anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. It feels like that could be easy. That could easily be a lunchtime video too. I've got enough energy towards it. And the thing is right. Moan aside about how football is off the pitch. Oh, let's just look at how football is on the pitch, and that will cheer us up. I mean, would it sod? You imagine if you could, like, if you had a parody of a show that would sort of run through VAR, you might get Michael Owen to present it. Michael Owen and Howard Webb just stood there, just tickling each other. Little massage on the shoulders. Ooh, PGMOL. Little kisses. It did not challenge him once. There was not. It was basically Michael Owen standing there, like, hands in a little triangle like that. Just, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know what you mean, Howard. Oh, very nice. What are you doing? Oh, like, piss off. And did you see the decision yesterday? Like, they brought up the McTominay decision. So this was the video. I obviously can't play it because of copyright. Because the Premier League are like that. But it took a minute and a half of looking at the goal itself for the assistant VAR that is properly whenever if you get the opportunity to listen to it, then go and do. Maybe I'll try and do it as a lunchtime video, but I think I'll just get shut down. It's properly too many cooks. It's chaos to listen to. Every time you're listening to it, you're like, what? Who's saying this? What? Who's AVR? We've got AVAR, we've got VAR, we've got ref, we've got someone else over there. It's like 3 or 4 people all at the same time going, you over here? Yep, you're over there. What about this? Okay. What about number 5? Number 19. Over this? Over there. It's chaos to listen to, let alone being a referee on the pitch with 22 players in a stadium of 20, 30, 40,000, trying to listen to 4 people having a chaotic conversation whilst you're. It's madness. It's that's the only way to describe it. It's just pure chaos and pure madness. And that there, of course, a minute and a half in, they finally go, oh, actually, what about Harry Maguire? It's like they looked at all the Garnacho stuff and they were like, oh, he's completely fine. It's just, it's not. It's what makes it worse, of course. All of this is the fact that United are crap. Okay, it compounds how big these problems are. But it's just like, man, what is there to like about modern football by comparison of what it was before? The game itself might be getting richer. The game itself might be getting more eyeballs because of the way that social media and the internet has grown and created a wider audience that they've obviously taken advantage of. But it's just getting worse. It's not even a purist. It's like you watch sport. Yeah, you watch sport to be entertained, but you watch sport to be entertained by the football itself, by watching the top 1% of professional footballers be absolutely amazing at football because you love watching football. You want to see the best passes, the best defenses, the best goalkeepers, the best goal scorers, the best everything. Instead, it's just the game itself on and off the pitch is just, it's become this never-ending melodrama and never-ending scrutiny of just crap. Man, I really feel like I'm in a moany mood this morning, for sure. And then Michael Owen going out. Man, imagine like the Michael proper echo chamber in Michael Owen's head. Honestly, if you were to choose a worse, who could possibly have been? I mean, I'm sure there are probably worse presenters there than Michael Owen, but my God, it's like a parody. It really is. There's a super chat and there's a couple of comments down here. I'm going to read these out. David is saying, "Man, what's he saying about City? Man City are only a big club because of the Saudis. Who were they even before 2011? Well, City didn't get bought by the Saudis. They got bought by Dubai. That was in 2008, not 2011. And the thing that City have done correctly, look, Man United have wasted $1 billion in this last 10 years or so on transfers because we had the wrong people spending that money. City have the oil money has been the enabler at City. But the people in charge of that money and in charge of that investment have built a ridiculous business based off the back of illegalities, of cheating, of corruption. Absolutely. But they know as big businessmen that they can probably get away with it, which is exactly what's happened so far. Oh, David, thank you very much, dude. You're there throwing a super chat in and you're gifting 5 memberships. What a ledge. Oh, Abu Dhabi, not Dubai. Who cares? It's not Saudi. My bad. Cheers, dude. Everyone say thanks. Darren, I like Howson's suggestion on VAR. Get 30 seconds to look at it in real time. If no clear and obvious play, then play on. I mean, look, what was it yesterday? Well, not yesterday, for the McTominay one. How long did we go for? Let's have a look. 127. Let's see how long they kept chalking for. 153. Man, Twitter is so bad. It doesn't let you scroll through videos. Every single time it stops. Shut up, Michael Owen. 252. 304, still going. 316, 327, 341. So it takes him 4 minutes Just under 4 minutes. Boring. Look at that. Man, I really I wish I didn't have to come on here and moan so much. I wish I didn't. But I speak not only from the perspective of a Manchester United fan here. I'm not saying that Man United, well, it feels like Man United have been kind of more harshly judged when it comes to VAR decisions, certainly this season. However, just in general, nobody is benefiting from VAR. Not one team overall, not one game of football is being improved by VAR. Jibat, you're saying the only reason an automated tech VAR is manned by groups of referees in the UK is to add additional income. You can have your own conspiracy theories about what's right and what's wrong, but truth be told, the PGMOL and VAR is an abomination of a system. When UEFA are sitting there with a semi-automated offside system, yet we're sitting here going, I mean, that's a subjective offside. What do you reckon? Did he touch the ball? Did he interfere? Go away. Dipesh, stop crying, man. It's the future. Dude, do you have any idea how long VAR has been around for? Things would improve. Okie dokie. I think VAR has been here for about 8 years, isn't it? When did VAR first get introduced? VAR introduced in the Premier League. The history of VAR. November 2018. Sod it. It's been here for a long old time. Anyway, let's speak about something a little bit less money, all right? Let's move and let's talk about Joao Neves. Let's talk about the billionaire that's invested in Manchester United. Let's talk about Dougie Freedman, sporting director. Let's talk about Old Trafford developments and a little bit on Marcus Rashford, all right? I apologize if that was a moany introduction in the first 15 minutes, but this is the news, and these are discussion points that I think we should absolutely be discussing. And I won't ever apologize for that, even though I just did. But look, Fabrizio Romano here confirming last night the Manchester United scouts were in attendance watching Benfica against Sporting at the weekend. Sporting were winning 1-0 away to Benfica. That is the derby, the Lisbon derby. And Benfica scored a 92nd minute equaliser from Joao Neves and then a 97th minute winner. Yeah, good turnaround for them. Now, Joao Neves, this is not the first time that we have been linked with Joao Neves. You'll remember. Well, this is I think this is a piece of art, a graphic we did last summer, I think it was, and we were linked with him. So this is not the first time that we've been linked with him. But obviously, Agent Bruno's doing the job. Look, I'm gonna do a short video on Joao Neves today. That's going to go out on Instagram and TikTok if you want to follow that. Well, I've kind of had a little discussion about Joao Neves. He is an interesting player. He's a very exciting player. Only 19. In terms of the age profile, in terms of signing up-and-coming talents, he ticks a few boxes. He is pretty much an all-round midfielder. He's played the majority of this season so far on the right-hand side for Benfica, but he's tiny. Like, is he what, 175 centimeters? He is not that physical. One second here. Come on. Oh, what? 1 second here, baby. We're celebrating. Ooh! Put it in the air. I don't know what I'm doing here. My God. Yeah, this show just got a little bit more interesting, people. All right. Mark Kleinman, who we know has been leading with the stories on the takeover. Right. 1 second here. Let me get this bad boy up. Right. Okay. There we go. Right, ladies and gents. Am I drunk? It feels like I'm drunk. Mark Kleinman, he's saying here, exclusive, Richard Arnold. The Manchester United CEO is to leave the club by the end of the year. An announcement will be made later today and will come shortly before Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos Sport confirms the acquisition of a 25% stake in the club. And he's saying that Patrick Stewart, who is not the leader on Star Trek, Manchester United's general counsel, will be named interim CEO in addition to his existing role. Richard Arnold's departure will come. I mean, who gives a sod about the details? Round of applause, please. Come on, baby. The start. The very, very start. And only the start. All right? So this means, right there, so it will come, the announcement will be made later today on Richard Arnold. So that, you know what my lunchtime video is today now. Richard Arnold's going to get sacked, absolutely booted out the door, elbowed. Has he jumped or has he been pushed? You know what happened? They're going to call it a mutual. They're going to call it a mutual. Actually, no, sod that. What did they even call it? Who cares whether he's been pushed or whether he's walked? He's gone. And I imagine he's absolutely been pushed out that door. Richard Arnold has to be the first of many. All right. And I said this in a video. I said, when did I say this? I said this in my video a couple of days ago on the 5 things that I want to see from Jim Ratcliffe straight away. Point 4 was this. Point 4 was Richard Arnold sacked immediately. I know that John Murtough needs to be sacked as well. That John Murtough needs to be replaced. But I don't think that we can completely sack and get rid of him until we have Paul Mitchell in line and in place. And that pretty much falls in line with what's happening here. You've got Patrick Stewart, who's Manchester United's general counsel. He's going to then be, I mean, you can call it a promotion if you want, but it's not really a promotion. It's a stopgap. Patrick Stewart will be a stopgap. Let's be totally honest. What was Richard Arnold doing as a CEO of Manchester United anyway? Not much good. But the fact that Arnold is gone before Ratcliffe's even in, number 4 off my list. Good start, Ratcliffe. Like, people, I know, right? You can have your doubts, right? You can absolutely have your doubts about Jim Ratcliffe. And so many of you were set on the idea of a Qatari takeover and the fact that it was going to be 100% takeover. And, oh, look at that. We're going to win everything. And so many of you are looking at Ratcliffe going, well, nothing's going to happen here. Nothing at all. This lies in perfect timing. Damn, I get it good. I get it right sometimes, because tomorrow is when my deep dive video on Jean-Claude Blanc is going to be released. And it is a proper deep dive video. I look into everything that he's done before he went into football, when he graduated from Harvard Business School. And then he went into sport because he saw that was his direction. And everything that he did there in France and with the Tennis Association and with the Olympics, Winter Olympics. And then he went to Juventus and all the work he did there and the successes and failures and all the work he did at PSG. Jean-Claude Blanc is easily the strongest candidate for that CEO position. And I'm talking like a proper, genuine CEO with a long history in business and sport, and having success at Juventus and PSG in very different circumstances. But Richard Arnold, I don't know why I'm laughing. Richard Arnold was an internal promotion by the Glazers because he was their puppet man. I questioned actually whether the Glazers would try and keep Richard Arnold on from a business side of things, in their business, in the corporate side. But this is huge news. I cannot stress enough. You can tell me, we can have conversations all day long about this, all right? We can talk about all the players that we need and all the problems with the style of play and the tactical changes and the substitutions that are needed. Yeah, sure. They're big problems. But until Manchester United change behind the scenes our football club structure, how we are run, we will never win the Premier League again. And this is the start. This is very, very good news. My lunchtime video today, I might have to go and pop some champagne up in here. That's how happy I'm. I was more excited when Woodward left. I remember doing that live. I think I did that live show with you. But Richard Arnold, I feared that he could be kept on in some capacity with the Glazers because we're effectively going to be split into two parts of the club now. It's going to be the business side of things and the football side of things. But as much as I have doubts, right? I have genuine doubts about Jim Ratcliffe's true ability to change our football club with only 25% ownership. I do not have doubts about Jim Ratcliffe as a businessman. You can't. He is quite literally a self-made billionaire. He is the richest man in Britain, and he grew up in the back streets in Oldham. He has worked his way to the top, and he understands business. And that's what gives me sort of belief that he and Ineos wouldn't just buy 25% of United and let the Glazers maintain control. And right here is the first example of it. Now, proof is in the pudding for all United fans here, all right? We're going to need to see change. SSA never seen Sam's mood shift so suddenly. Well, it's not all of a sudden. It's not often that your CEO gets sacked when you're on a live stream. This is the beginning of the change that we want. That is a pure necessity. Yes. Mania, you gifted 5 memberships. My Don. I'm going to go down there and gift 5 memberships as well. It's not every day. I sod that. I'm gifting 10. Come on. Ah. Ladies and gents. Yeah, I'm a little bit happy at that. So happy. And come on, 10 of you. Come into the Discord. Let's have a party later. Come on. Do you have a party? Why not? Maybe a little bit premature on the party. Right. That's 10 from me. Okay. You're welcome to everybody. Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's wait and see. Blah, blah, blah. Let me see what's going on here on see if there's a little bit more information on Sky News. Let's have a look. Because this is only just broken from Mark Lyman. By the way, can I just say here, we talk about you know how reliable Fabrizio Romano is and David Ornstein. This dude right here, Mark Lyman, I need to get him on this channel for an interview. He was first with the information about the strategic investment alternatives. He was first with the news in the last, 2 weeks ago, was it? About Jim Ratcliffe investing 240 million of his own money. He's first on the news here about Richard Arnold being sacked. Like, I don't care how they paint this. I don't care what comes out in a statement. Richard Arnold has been sat down and said, you're not good enough for this job going forward. Should we call it quits? I don't know how the conversation went down, but that is what happened. All right? And everyone's like, Sam. Stop getting so excited. You know what I say? We're going to do it anyway. 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 You know what? I might even change the overlay. That's how. There we go. I'm gonna do it properly, right? May as well enjoy the show. I know you all of you always enjoy it when like big news breaks whilst we're live. I always get slightly annoyed because I like being prepared with the stories, but off the cuff is always fun sometimes as well. I get that. But look, 1 second there. Boo. Teresa, you gifted 5 memberships as well. Come on. Darren, you're saying, Sam, you're in full party mode. Yeah, man, I am. Because, like, fucking hell. Actual, tangible, you can touch it, change. No speculation. No news stories. No, oh, this might happen. No, we're going to get an announcement later today from Manchester United confirming that Richard Arnold is going. Vamos, by the end of the year, within the next 6 weeks, Richard Arnold will be nothing more than a distant bad memory like Ed Woodward at our football club. And yeah, I am excited about that because I want nothing more than Ratcliffe to prove my doubts wrong, to prove everybody's doubts wrong, because that will be what is best for Manchester United. And this is exactly how it has to start. Daz, you're saying it should be gone today. Dude, it's not how it works on businesses of this scale, right? They're clearly going to have a succession plan. You can't just bring in a CEO overnight. You can't just sack a CEO overnight and then replace what he's done. But look, I darken like you're saying that. Well said, Sam. Can't deny the man's acumen and success. Glad you're a fair man. Shot that, dude, man. I saw the benefits. All right, I saw the benefits of a Qatari takeover. But anybody who followed me throughout that entire process will know that there was a fundamental part of me driven by my hatred for what Chelsea did to the Premier League, for my hatred to what City did to the Premier League, and what that sort of ownership model means and is. And I hate it. That was why part of me was always fundamentally completely against any concept of Manchester United becoming the latest club to be owned in that fashion. As much as I always saw that there were massive benefits to a Qatari takeover. And honestly, if so many people still at that point didn't understand or just didn't want to understand, and we had so many, oh man, we had so many arguments here as a community. It was really, really mentally quite taxing, if I'm being completely honest. That few months, it was about 6 months of just, oh man, it was crazy. But Richard Arnold has to be the first casualty. All right. John Murtough has to be the next one. But that one, and I'm not surprised it's happening as immediately as Richard Arnold, because of John Murtough will be more heavily involved in the day-to-day actual running of our football side of things. Richard Arnold, he's just like some overseer who does sweet FA anyway. So you can get rid of him without really affecting how the club operates. But ladies and gents, like prepare yourselves for the announcement. So Mark Kleiman here saying, look, an announcement's coming later today on Richard Arnold. I'm going to have my lunchtime video on Richard Arnold. Oh, I'm going to enjoy that one. Oh, yes. And it says, and that statement will come shortly before Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos Sport confirms the acquisition of a 25% stake in the club. So it means that statement's coming soon. All right. We were initially told maybe Monday, and then that sort of like that got shifted on because obviously Monday was Sir Bobby Charlton's funeral. So that was never going to be announced on Monday. But it should be this international break. I'm going to go down here and read a few of your comments out here. And what's your opinion on this news? Does it fill you with optimism? Or for a question I'd like to ask, actually, for those who really are, and understand it, are really skeptical towards Jim Ratcliffe, what's going to be the thing that makes you go, okay, right, or maybe there is some hope there? At what point will your mindset sort of change? What's going to be the change that happens at United that makes you go, well, maybe Ratcliffe actually can do something and can be successful? Interested to know the answer to that question. Nick, you're saying I'm more interested on how they handle Ten Hag's position with more injuries. I hope they back him. Nick, Ten Hag is not under threat. He really won't be under threat. If we come back after this international break and we just go on a downward spiral, all right, we lose to Newcastle, we lose to Everton, we get knocked out of the Champions League, and we're just free falling, then any manager would be under scrutiny in that position. But I don't think that will happen. I think for the fact that Ten Hag has come through this period as the Premier League's most informed team, it is kind of, it's like, what the hell's the rest of the league doing? But fair play to United as well. Really fair. This season so far has been crisis management. There's been no hope of progression, no real signs of progression. And at a time when everything could have just run away from us, he somehow managed to steady the ship, as poor as it has been to watch. Ross, you're saying Arnold's the biggest fish below the directors, so an immediate change in direction and approach with Jim Ratcliffe is coming. Yeah, if you're looking at the structure, and I've already spoken about how I'm going to do an organisational chart, an updated organisational chart. There's no point doing it just yet because we don't know the organisation. But Arnold leaving, that is the... I don't think there's anybody that Ineos could get rid of that's in a higher position, as Ross said there, below the Glazers. He is the Glazers' first point of contact. Joel will wake up and ring Richard Arnold and go, "What's news? What's happening?" Anybody else, whether it be Cliff Beattie, who I think is the financial officer, Patrick Stewart, he's the chief counsel. Patrick Stewart and Cliff Beattie were also on the board alongside Richard Arnold. So there was 3 members of the board, those 3, Arnold, Beattie and Stewart. The 6 Glazers and 3 independent directors because of all the shareholders in the New York Stock Exchange. That was United's board, 12 members. So you can't really sack anybody higher than Richard Arnold. So it's a strong start. Jonathan, you're saying, what about the American billionaire that's bought shares? I'm going to be speaking about that next. When a statement comes to 25% stake, how long after that will he be allowed to take charge, says Top Death Angel? Well, that's something that we want information on, isn't it? We don't know yet. We don't know what the plans are. If in 6 months' time he can buy X amount more shares, in 12 months' time, if the Glazers are obliged to sell, we need that information, but we don't have it at this time. At least give some credit to Arnold. He brought Ten Hag in. Dude, that was John Murtough. It was Murtough who led that whole... Do you remember the whole process of looking at tons of managers? I can't remember who else was on that list. It was post Ragnick, and we did like 3 or 4, and that was when Manchester United... Well, I say Manchester United. It was John Murtough. I think it was Darren Fletcher as well. Richard Arnold eventually got involved, but he's a yes man. He's been sat at the top. I asked you that question there about if you're skeptical of Jim Ratcliffe, what would make you change? At what point will change your mind? I'm going to read through some of your answers here. Paramount, you're saying a director of football. Siggy, you're saying if Jim hires competent people. John, you're saying when full details of the deal are known. I have no opinion on this matter. I have no hope on Ratcliffe, says Dipesh. Well, I think that's simply because you're just burying your head in the sand. If you have no hope on it, you're just burying your head in the sand. Edwidge, bringing in a qualified head of recruitment will make me believe in Ratcliffe more. Dan, you're saying, as I said, we don't need billions. If Jim can get the right staff, then we'll crack it. I think that director of football is going to be quite a significant moment. And for me, it really should be Paul Mitchell. I could speak about Dougie Freedman here, right? So this story came out a few days ago that Dougie Freedman is being identified as a potential sporting director. And immediately, well, a lot of people had the same sort of opinion as Rio Ferdinand, which is a little bit harsh, but I understand partly the sentiment. Dougie Freedman at Crystal Palace, if you look at the likes of Elise, they signed from Reading for what, 8 million? Eze they brought in, and Eze who they got to sign a new contract. Didn't Elise sign a new contract as well? Check Decore is another really smart signing from them. Anderson, I think, was another decent one. Dougie Freedman clearly has an eye for a talented player. All right. Which is part of the role. It's not always part of the role of sporting director. It can be separated out. But when it comes to what works at Crystal Palace, does that mean it'll work at Manchester United? Now, what you could say there, he goes, well, Paul Mitchell, when he was at Southampton, you could have said the same thing. Prior to him going to Spurs, prior to him really building a reputation at a larger club, you'd say, well, what's Paul Mitchell done? And sometimes you do have to take that gamble. But I think when it comes to this decision now for Jim Ratcliffe and for Manchester United, These positions here, and we've said this, right, so often and so many times, best in class. And I think that's probably what applies to these two positions, right? These two positions are of a new CEO and a new sporting director. We have to get best in class. Now I'm going to go on Twitter and see what's being said here. There we go. Well, Fabrizio Romano is just confirming what Mark Kleiman has said. Let me bring this up here. Fabrizio Romano with the classic tap in there. It's cool when I do like it when big news breaks like this, and I'm excited about this. This is the change. Now, so that we've got Richard Arnold being sacked. Good one, that has to happen, and is happening, and has happened basically. John Murtough being sacked, that has to happen. No confirmation that will happen yet, but I'd be very surprised if it didn't follow suit. Timeline of that, I don't quite know. But getting rid of those two and then bringing in someone like Jean-Claude Blanc, and that's why my video tomorrow is, man, that is bang on timing wise. It's nice when you put hard work in. I've been working on that Jean-Claude Blanc video for some while now. Some while? Does that mean? I don't know. Please don't let me down, Jim. Please don't let me down. I want our football club to just be our football club again. And I really, on the surface, on my life, it's not complicated. We just need a good director of football. We need a good CEO. We need we need the best CEO. We need the best sporting director. And simply with those two people in place and empowered properly, so many of our problems change. The problem of still having the Glazers as overall owners, I don't know when that will change. All right. We're here 12 months on, and we were sold the concept that they didn't say that they were selling the club, but of course we allowed ourselves to dream, and we dreamt, and that's why when the Qatari bid pulled out, that so many people were deflated. Some people went absolutely way over the top. Oh, Manchester United is dead. That's the end of Manchester United. And I'm like, what are you even saying? What a ridiculously exaggerated reaction to the Qataris pulling out. Have the past changed? Yep. Is it different to what we expected? Yep. But can Jim Ratcliffe actually instigate change? Well, before the 25% is even announced, our CEO is being sacked. That right there is tangible, real change and beginning of change. And it has to be the beginning. My God, there is so much more that is needed. I'm gonna keep going down there and seeing what you're saying in the comments. All right, this feels like it's good to have this open chat, open floor. Tommy saying if Sir Jim wants Sancho to stay, he's trying to make Ten Hag leave. I've seen that. Do you know where that came from, Tom? Let me see if I'm correct. 1 second here. I think it was. There we go. Right. Well, let's just put this let's put this one to bed quite quickly. Exclusive from the Daily Star, which is the equivalent for me going to the toilet, wiping, and coming back with a piece of paper. People need to. I'll be honest, Tom. You're obviously based in the Netherlands. You don't really, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but you don't know that's what I try and do. I try and tell people what's reliable and what's not reliable. It's the Daily Star, man. It is toilet paper. Jim Ratcliffe's going to come in here and go, no, Eric, you've got to apologize. As I said, Jim Ratcliffe is a smart businessman. Jim Ratcliffe isn't going to come in here with like a little Man United hat on a little clipboard and walk in and say, right, Eric, been doing my research. This is what you need to do. First off, you apologise to Jadon. He's a good little player. Like, he's got 94 pace or whatever pace is. Just apologise to him. No, Jim Ratcliffe will not be involved. And that's probably the best thing that City's owners did. They bought the club and they stepped away from it. And they let the right people make the decisions. That's the thing that's never happened at United. And that is why this news is really exciting. Tom, you just gifted 5 memberships as well, man. Thank you very much. Nick, you saying, Sam, you need to change your analogy. My analogies seem to be very toilet related right now. I have to admit that. Sorry about that. Just pops into my head. And dark and light is a very good point. Star's not as reliable as toilet paper. Do you remember when coronavirus first, well, was it March 2020, I think it was, in the UK? And everyone started panicking and going to the shops. The first thing that people panicked about was toilet paper. It's like, I mean, you don't need that. You can get around it. Big up B-days, man. This country needs to be more B-day friendly. When you go abroad, Asia, that's what it's all about. Much cleaner, much better. Anyway, we're talking about B-days here. We are really, that is some diversion. Let me see what else is being said here about the reaction to this. Is that Mark Kleiman publishing an article? Boom, there we go. We've got the full article here. I am going to read this and then I'm going to end the show and I'm going to... Right, okay, this is coming here. I'm going to read through this in a little bit of a brief note here and I'm going to go and cover it in a full video. CEO of Manchester United is set to leave after 2 years. And look, an announcement is coming to the New York Stock Exchange on Wednesday. I'm going to read through that full article in the video and all the details that Mark Kleiman gives. But that's what it is. An announcement's coming to the New York Stock Exchange. And that is why Mark Kleiman was first to the news there. He's obviously got his sources when it comes to the business side of things. And that's what I've always said about this whole process. The business side is where we're going to be getting the information from. Jordan, you're saying, what percentage did we want Qatar? I don't know. I have no idea. I've got no idea. It was a bit of a roller coaster of a stream. I'll be completely honest. I haven't even mentioned this. Look, so many people, I think someone asked earlier about what's happened. I saw a billionaire bought a stake in United yesterday. And he did. A billionaire bought a stake in Manchester United yesterday, Leon Cooperman. He bought nearly, I believe, just under 1 million shares. Cooperman reported a position of just under 1 million shares, currently valued at $16.8 million. And people were saying, well, what does this mean? I'll be honest, it doesn't mean much because what you can see here is that's effectively just shares kind of changing hands because Leon Cooperman there is I think he's a hedge fund owner from, I don't know, former hedge fund owner, billionaire, whatever he is. He's bought just under 1 million shares. And right here, you can see Ariel Investments, who are a substantial owner of Manchester United. Look at this. They've just filed. They've reduced their ownership in Manchester United by 831,000 shares. So Ariel Investment have reduced their ownership by 831,000 shares at the same time as Leon Cooperman has swallowed up just under 1 million shares. It's basically the shares just being shifted between the two. It doesn't really mean much. He's not going to have a stake in. He's not going to have a stake in the influence of Manchester United. He's just going to become another minority owner, just like Lindsay Train, Ariel Investments, and now Leon Cooperman. It's not. It looks like big news on paper, but it's not because of the ownership structure at United. Class A shares and Class B shares. Class A shares are the ones you buy on the New York Stock Exchange. No voting power. Class B shares. And this is something that we still don't know. When it comes to Ratcliffe's 25% takeover, what shares is he buying? Are they releasing new shares? Are they diluting shares? Are they changing the share structure and ownership? I don't know. Still don't know that. But the big news there, confirmed from Mark Kleiman, that Richard Arnold is leaving. That there was a very enjoyable stream. It started off, the contrast of emotions in this stream are probably the biggest you're going to get on this channel. It was 10, 15 minutes of me moaning about the way the game's gone, with Chelsea just openly cheating and not caring, with City openly cheating and not caring, and with VAR ruining the game on the pitch, and it was a big old moan. Then Richard Arnold gets sacked, and all of a sudden I've got a smile on my face. Because that right there, ladies and gents, that's the end of speculation. That's the end of this. That right there is tangible, real change at our football club and the beginning of it. So much more is needed, but that does fill me with a bit of hope. Right, I'm going to do my lunchtime video with far more information on that Richard Arnold story. I'm going to run through the full article from Mark Kleiman and what's being said. All right, I'm going to go and work on that straight away. If you haven't already, please drop a like on the video. It makes a big, big difference. Change is happening. Announcements are going to be happening this week. We are going to, the beginning of this, I don't know what you would call it. It's not the end of the Glazers era, but it may well be the end of the Glazers era of control of the football side of our club. And that could be everything that we need.